ABC, it's Jonathan, your cheap and cheerful record collector. I hope everybody's doing well out there today. It's the day after Labor Day, and everything's getting back to normal, more or less. Kids are going back to school, etc. And here in Maine, all the tourists are finally going home, so we can finally get into one of our many restaurants without having to wait hours and hours. Cool, rainy day here. I don't know why I always give the weather report, but here in Maine today, it's 60 degrees and raining, which is great. We need the rain badly, and nice and cool. And fall's right around the corner. Before you know it, we'll be wearing heavy sweaters and raking leaves. So today's video, I haven't done a new finds video in quite a while. I've been digging and I've been finding records, so I think it's time to start showing some of the stuff I've pulled recently. Some I got from a local record store, some I got from yard sales, etc., etc. These are all used records. First one is a record I had, and it was really beat to hell, and I got rid of it. I was always looking for a clean copy. I went to a store here in Maine the other day, and this is Johnny Winter's Second Winter, and he had a copy in the store sealed, and he wanted $70 for it, which I thought was just insane, because you see this record all the time, but of course it's usually beat. So I didn't buy it from him. I went to another store in the same town. He had 4 copies, and this was the cleanest copy. I paid $9.50 for it. So really happy with Johnny Winter. Second Winter has a 3-sided LP. One side is blank, but it has some of my favorite songs by him. It has my favorite version of Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited. Johnny B. Good is great, Slippin' and Slidin', Miss Ann. It's just a great, great album. Killer record. Johnny Winter, Second Winter. Also I picked up, it was a band in the 60s, sort of like a Paul Butterfield blues band, but not quite as intense, a little more mellow, a little more folky, and it was a Sigel Schwall band. This was their last album called R.I.P. They had decided to break up, and they did one more record for the record company they're with. I think it was Elektra. No, Wooden Nickel Records. So this is a Sigel Schwall band on Wooden Nickel. Their last album, I don't know when the date of this is. Oh, 74. Okay. Corky Siegel, who's the harmonica player, went on to play with symphony orchestras and all that kind of stuff. Didn't really follow him much after he left the band, after the band broke up, but like their early stuff. I haven't listened to this yet, so I'm looking forward to digging into this. This is Sigel Schwall, R.I.P. Here's one I picked up. I was at this record store in Maine here, and they don't price their records, which drives me nuts, but it's the way they do it. And he let us go into the basement and dig around the basement. And I pulled this one, and I knew nothing about it. I still haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. It's called Jimmy Walker and Erwin Helfer, Blues and Boogie Woogie Piano, Duets and Solos. And one of the reasons I picked it up is that it is Flying Fish 001. So I assume it's the first Flying Fish release. So I had to get it, even just for that reason alone. Flying Fish. I guess Jimmy Smith is an older gentleman, and the other guy is a young kid. I assume that's Jimmy Smith, and that's Erwin Helfer. So looking forward to that. I love boogie woogie piano playing, love that kind of stuff. So, and usually when I find something on Flying Fish, if the price is right, I gotta grab it. This was nice and clean, and I'd never seen it before. And again, Flying Fish 001, so sort of cool. I was at that record store that had the $70 Johnny Winter album. I saw this. I'd never seen this before. Big fan of this blues player, so I had to grab it. And it's Magic Sam, and this is early stuff. It says Cobra Chief and Crash Recordings, 1957 to 1966. I think in 66 is when he signed with Delmark. The record is not it's old recordings. These companies, Cobra Chief and Crash, were not high-end recording companies at all. So the recordings are not great, but he's so raw and so freaking great. There's the Picture of Magic. Remastered Essentials. And it's on this lovely pink vinyl. Magic Sam died in 1969 of a heart attack. I think he was 32 years old when he passed away. Just about to break out into the scene and become big, and he passed away. This has a lot of his early recordings were never released, were only released on 45s, not on any album. So, really glad to have it. Again, recording's not the greatest, but so great, so raw, so kind of blues I dig. The Magic Sam. Another one I picked up. This was a guy had a yard sale. He had a 2,000 records maybe. And there was another guy there selling records. Picked this up. Esther Phillips. This is her album Confessing the Blues. Good stuff. A little not as funky as I expected it to be, but still really good. On Atlantic. I'm going to say late 70s, 76. Great voice, though, Esther Phillips. Then I got some jazz. That's only the blues. Now I got some jazz I found. This one I got, again, at that guy's place who had the yard sale. I just listened to it 10 minutes ago. One of my favorite. I just love this record. I just listened to it the first time, and it really hooked me. So great. Horace Parker. And this is called Arrival, with a trio and quintet, with Idris Suleiman on flugelhorn, Ben Yadek on tenor sax, Horace Parker on piano, Hugo Rasmussen on bass, and Ed Thigpen on drums. Originally recorded in 1973, released in 1974 in Denmark only, and then finally in 1976, released in the United States on Inner City Records. Very smooth, cool jazz, a little bop, but just beautiful. Really dig this record. I don't have any other Horace Parker, so I got to start looking around for more because I really dig his piano playing. Nice stuff. Horace Parker, Arrival, 1976. This one was sealed when I got it, which is why I bought it. And I'd always thought that he was a little too free jazz for me. I'm not really into the free jazz. I've heard it live, and I can appreciate it live, but on record, it's really not the first kind of jazz I go to when I want to listen to something. But I gave it a chance because it was sealed, and it's much better than I expected. And it's Eric Dolphy, the Berlin concerts. There are definitely some signs of free jazz in it, but it has a lot more rhythm, and I liked it a lot. Recorded August 30th, 1961 in Berlin, obviously, with Eric Dolphy on flute, bass clarinet, and alto sax, Benny Bailey on trumpet, Pepsi Hour on piano, Jamil Nasser on bass, and Buster Smith on drums. And like I said, it definitely has signs of some free jazz moments here and there, but very listenable, really nice. And it's so nice to have a record from 1978, which is when this was put out, that was sealed, or it was until I got it. Another one I picked up at that same place. Probably didn't need it, but I'd like to have it. And it's a Miles Davis album called Facets. It's a Preston Holland, the Netherlands. It's a compilation of his stuff. So it goes back as far as 1955, where they put on Sweet Sue with Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Red Garland, Paul Chambers, and Philly Joe Jones, and goes all the way up to 1962, where he does Blue Christmas and Devil May Care, Blue Christmas with the great vocalist Bob Dorough. So a nice little compilation from Holland, in really nice condition. Always love me some Miles Davis. All right, the next one was a disappointment, but that's what happens. You pay your money, you take your chances. Joe Farrell Quartet. Now, I grabbed this because I saw the lineup, which is Chick Corea on piano, Jack DeJohnette on drums, Dave Holland on bass, and John McLaughlin on guitar. I figured come on, that's an amazing lineup. Too free for me, and it's not in great shape. A lot of nicks, pops, and clicks. Joe Farrell, of course, is soprano and tenor sax, flute and oboe. Recorded July 1st and 2nd, 1970. CTI label. I just didn't dig it. It was just too out there for me. I like more of a rhythm. I like more of a melody than they had here. So I'm sort of disappointed in this, but like again, pays your money, takes your chances. Another one which I really liked, this is on Pablo Records, still with the jazz, is Tommy Flanagan. Tommy Flanagan was Ella Fitzgerald's piano player for many, many years. This is Tokyo Recital, with him on piano, obviously. Keter Betts on bass and Bobby Durham on drums. Recorded February 15th, 1975. Nice Pablo recording. These used to be really inexpensive. You used to be able to pick up Pablo records for $4 or $5. Now they're going for $8, $10, $12, $15 on the Pablo label. Everything's going up, ridiculous. But good stuff on here. Great piano player, and definitely my kind of jazz. Tommy Flanagan. Next we go into what they used euphemistically called newgrass. And they had a bunch of albums by this band, and I only bought one. I probably should have bought 3 or 4 for the price they were charging. But this is the Newgrass Revival. This is from 1979, and this is the band that had Sam Bush in it. And Sam Bush, amazing dobro player, among other things. This is a great album with Curtis Birch, John Cowan, and Courtney Johnson. Love the cover, love the record. Great bluegrass, newgrass as they call it, playing. Newgrass Revival. Good stuff. Sam Bush. Anything I find with Sam Bush, I gotta grab it. Also, in that same vein, is Peter Rowan, and this is Peter Rowan and the Nashville Bluegrass Band, New Moon Rising, on Sugar Hill Records, and he's accompanied by none other than Jerry Douglas on Sugar Hill Records. I think it's 1988, if I remember right. Peter Rowan, great vocalist and great guitar player, but really nice to have Jerry Douglas in there on dobro helping him out. So, pretty cool record. Peter Rowan and the Nashville Bluegrass Band. Sticking with that same theme, this one I didn't know the guy at all, Tony Trischka. But again, as I'm looking at the people on the record with him, I see Tony Rice, I see Larry Cohen, and who else here? David Grisman, and David Grisman. So any band that has Tony Rice, David Grisman backing them up, I figure it's got to be good. Haven't had a chance to spin it yet. Tony Trischka looks like a banjo player. Yeah, he plays banjo. Also has Andy Stratman, who I don't know, Even Stover, Danny Weissman. More newgrass for me. Tony Trischka. Date on this is 1982, recorded 1982 on Rounder Records. So Rounder is another one of those labels. Whenever I see it, like Flying Fish, I see something on Rounder or Flying Fish and the price is right, the record's clean, I gotta try it. And I think the last one in that whole grouping of newgrass, country folk, etc., is the Desert Rose Band. And this is the band that has Chris Hillman and Herb Peterson, also John Jorgensen, who is an amazing guitar player. He plays with them on this one too. So looking forward again. Didn't have a chance to spin this yet. Looking forward to dig it on Curb Records. Don't have a date on this, but knowing these players, it's got to be great. Oh, also, Bill Bryson's on here too, another great player. So looking forward to this Desert Rose Band. I got one or two of theirs already, found one or two recently. So now whenever I see the Desert Rose Band, I got to grab it. Next is something completely different. He's one of my favorite guitar players. I always grab anything I see by him if I don't have it. And this I did not have, so I'm glad to add it to the collection. And it's Ry Cooder, and this is the soundtrack to Paris, Texas, which unfortunately I never saw the movie. But this is the soundtrack also with David Lindley's on here with him. So this I listen to. It's a movie soundtrack music, but great stuff. And they're just so good together, David Lindley and Ry Cooder. So digging this for sure. On Warner Brothers. Oh, this is a German pressing. Meant to mention that. Yeah, this is a German pressing on that. I don't know if that makes a hill of a beans difference or not, but just sort of a cool little thing to have. This one I saw, and he's a singer who I really like his stuff he's done. This is one of his, I think, his second album, and it's very different than what we know of the artist now, and that would be Bob Seger. And this is his second album, Smokin' Ops, which is basically an organ-driven blues rock band. He really didn't find his style, I guess, for another record or two. But this is great. He does Bo Diddley, Love the One You're With, Let It Rock, Jesse James. He only has two original tunes on here. The last two, Someday and Heavy Music. But really good. This is a repress released previously on Palladium Records. This is a Capitol reissue, as you see there, but that's okay. Price was right on the green Capitol label, which I guess was their budget label. When they wanted to press something out, they didn't want to spend a lot of time and money doing it. They pressed it on the green label. I guess the purple label was the higher quality label. But this sounds good to me, and love Bob Seger, and it's really good blues rock, very organ-driven for sure. Good stuff, though. This is a record I've been looking for a while. I haven't a lot of this guy's discography, but this one sort of some way, somehow has eluded me. Not hard to find, but it was nice to find a nice clean copy. And it's Van Morrison, and this is his record, Period of Transition. And this is the one that Dr. John is on here, playing all the keyboards and guitar on one song. So it adds a really funky kind of feel to Van, which I sort of like. Big Van fan, just great stuff. I'm going to say 1977. Van Morrison with Dr. John, etc. on regular Warner Brothers label, Palm Tree label, we all know that. So yeah, Van Morrison, added my collection. And last, but certainly not least, this is a record I've seen around for a while. I've seen it in a couple of different antique malls, but the prices have been too high. And finally, I found it at a decent price. And one of my favorite singer, definitely one of my favorite songwriters, Leonard Cohen. And this is his album, Death of a Ladies' Man. So I haven't heard it again yet. I know it's produced by Phil Spector, so I'm sort of hesitant for that reason. Not a big Phil Spector fan. But I'm going to give it a shot, and I know people have said very good things about it, and always loved Leonard Cohen. And again, it's on the Warner Brothers Palm Tree label. That's the last of the new stuff I've gotten recently. I'm going to do another video soon of new records I've gotten, not used records. I got about 8 or 9 new presses that I picked up recently, so I'll do another video on that soon. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed, please hit that like button, hit that bell so you're told about any new videos coming up. And until next time, peace.